We know how loyal you are to your iPhone 4, but it's taken a beating and the headphone jack and volume controls are in need of repairing. Well, with this repair, your iPhone 4 will be back in action in no time. Hey, it's Gwendolyn with iFixit, and today I'm going to walk you through the repair of the headphone jack and the volume control cable in the iPhone 4. Remember, this is just an overview, so be sure to check out our step-by-step guides when you do your repair. And if you're working on a Verizon phone, your repair is going to be slightly different, so make sure you're looking at the right guide for the right device you're working on. For this repair, you're going to need an iPhone 5-point pentalobe screwdriver if your iPhone has external pentalobe screws, or a Phillips 000 screwdriver if your iPhone has external Phillips screws. A SIM eject tool, or you can use a paperclip, a Phillips 00 screwdriver, plastic opening tools, 2.5mm flathead screwdriver, spudger, and tweezers. I have all the parts and tools I need in my ProTech toolkit, and it's not listed on the repair guide, but I never do a repair without my magnetic mat. Again, it's magnetic, so none of those little parts will roll away, and it keeps me organized. So let's get started. First, make sure your phone is turned off, and then you're going to remove the 2 screws at the bottom near the dock connector. Okay, with those screws out, now we're going to take off the back panel. And to do that, you're just going to push with both thumbs up, and it should come apart like that. And then we can just take it off. Now we can get the battery off. And to do that, we're just going to get our Phillips driver and unscrew the 1 screw that's holding on the battery connector. Now we can use our opening tool to pry off the battery connector. And while you're down there, remove the contact clip. Now we can use this tab to get the battery out. And if you're having a little trouble, you can use your opening tool. Now we can take out the SIM card. And to do that, we're going to use our little SIM ejector tool, and we're going to poke that in the hole right here on the side, and it pops right out. There we go. Now we can remove the 2 Phillips screws that are holding on the dock connector bracket. Now that we have those screws off, we can take the bracket off with our fingers, and then we can disconnect that cable from the logic board with your opening tool. With that unstuck, we're going to use the pointy end of our spudger to disconnect the antenna cable right here. Now we can remove 6 screws that are holding the logic board to the rear case. There's 1 at the bottom and there are 5 at the top. And with those screws out, now we can take off the bracket with our fingers and get to work on the rear-facing camera. And to do that, I'm just going to use my spudger. We're going to pry up that cable and set it aside. Now that the camera's out, we have 1 screw in the middle of the logic board that's near the pull tab for the battery. If there's a sticker covering it, go ahead and take that off first and then get to work removing the screw. Now we can use the flat end of our spudger to disconnect the 5 cables at the top of the board. Now that all those cables are disconnected, we can attack the last standoff screw with our flathead screwdriver. And that is the last screw. Now we can get our logic board out. But be sure that you're not going to tear any of these cables that we disconnected earlier. And on reassembly, make sure this tiny antenna at the bottom is not underneath the logic board. Now that we have the logic board out, we can take out the front-facing camera. But it is held in place with a bracket, so we're going to use our spudger to pry that off. And there's the bracket, and now we can get to the front-facing camera. Now we have 2 screws holding on the vibrator, so let's remove those and take the vibrator out. And now that that's out, we can use our spudger to remove the piece of black tape that is covering the volume button bracket. And while you're down there, remove the 5 Phillips screws securing the silent and volume brackets to the outer case. And now we can use a pair of tweezers to get the silent switch bracket off, but don't take the silent switch out of the phone just yet. And now we can move on to the headphone jack assembly. We're gonna use our tweezers and you're gonna pull gently, but make sure not to pull too hard and to be careful of all those cables because you don't want them to tear. And now all you have to do is transfer the old brackets to your new unit and work backwards on the step-by-step guide to reassemble your phone. You can find all the parts and tools you need for this and many more repairs at iFixit.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all our latest teardowns and repair videos. You can follow us on Twitter at iFixit and give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/iFixit.